All right, welcome back to another episode of Fake Nerds Watch for Star Trek Lower Decks. This is episode 8. I wrongly said the last two episodes last time. That was 6 and 7, not 5 and 6. So this is episode 8 of Star Trek Lower Decks. Excretus. Or Excretus?
Excretus, I think.
Excretus, I think, yeah. And I'll just go right out and say it. This is my favorite episode of the series.
It was a ton of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I feel like this is a common theme where as we keep going, it's like, this is my favorite. No, this is my favorite. We talked about that last with Boimler, right?
I've really liked them, but this one I don't think for me it could get better than this episode, at least this season. But let me introduce you. You are Michael Karls from the Downright Nerdy podcast.
That's me, and I'm a huge Trek fan. Thank you again for having me on the show, Brandon. Really appreciate it. I've been enjoying every episode this season and can't wait for more.
Yeah, Cookie from Just a Little Podcast, once again, could not join us. He's whipped. Doing chores. Busy. So he couldn't show up, unfortunately. So hopefully we get him back, because I missed that. I missed talking to him.
Yeah, huge Trek fan as well. And I know if he could be here, I guarantee he would. He did tell me that he did love this episode as well. So
yeah. All right, so let's get right into it. I want to talk about my favorite part of the episode last. So let's talk about, basically the plot is the Cerritos needs to be what is the word? It's
they're tested. They're being tested.
They're being tested, yeah. And in order to do so, the upper decks and the lower decks got to switch.
Right. So the whole premise of the movie was preceded by right at the very beginning. The lower deckers are repairing a satellite. Right. And as they're finishing up the repairs, the Cerrito gets a distress call, and they warp away, leaving our heroes, our lower deck heroes, on the satellite. And 6 hours later, they realize what they did. They come back, and
6 hours. She left her daughter for 6 hours. Left her daughter.
And actually, it's funny. Mariner and Captain Freeman, they kind of have this exchange where, like, oh, lower, you don't care about us lower deckers. Like, oh, you were fine, yada yada. And in comes in the oh god, what's her name? Her name is she's a Pandronian named Shari Yin Yem. And
look at that. They're always there with Memory Alpha.
Yeah, I love it. I love my Memory Alpha.
Yeah.
And she's from Starfleet, and she's here to test the Cerritos in various scenarios, switching a lot of the roles of lower decks and bridge crew.
Yeah,
which is
fun. And they have to do it like as role play too. So even when they're not in the simulations, they have to be lower and upper decks. The captain, the senior staff is having a far better time in their lower deck situations than they are in the lower decks are. But the situations are all the simulated situations are all from Star Trek episodes. They're all Star Trek tropes or just flat out Star Trek episodes just being recreated. I noticed immediately Naked Time, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, they went there.
Are we doing that again?
But the best part is that it had a residual effect on Mariner, because later on in the episode, she sees the chief security officer, and she like imagines / maybe fantasizes about him naked. And she's like, oh my God, no.
Yeah, she does a mirror universe episode, essentially, mission first, and she fails. She's confused. She's like, what happened?
She likes to divert from missions, right? That's kind of her thing. Like she could have escaped, but then she has this fantastical plan in her head where she wants to
take over the Empire,
take over the Terran Empire, and all this grandiose stuff.
But she is the one that we see like the most of, except we see the senior staff have to stack crates during a mission.
That was just so hilarious. Like, okay, oh great, a Klingon invasion, great. We could totally handle this. I wonder what they're gonna have us do. And they have to stack crates, and they just have such a difficult time because the ship's obviously under attack. And
checks, I did it. It just destroys it all. There's a lot of really funny moments. There's a lot of like character building in this episode also, which I'm always impressed by. That they're able to bring like really just start live action Star Trek level character building into this what is essentially a silly animated show a lot of the time. There's a bit, I always like the fact that they lean into Mariner being sexually fluid, maybe bisexual, maybe pansexual, we don't know, because she sees Boimler holding his dick up or whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
in the Naked Time episode, and then but she sees two girls kissing and she's like, oh, she's
yeah.
kind of into that one, and I always thought that was kind of fun.
So one of my favorite ones, I don't know if it's yours or not, but I would venture to guess that this is probably one of your favorite parts of the episode. All of the Boimler stuff with the Borg.
That is my
Um,
favorite
yeah.
part of
So,
this
and
episode.
I'm gonna venture a guess why, because so the whole, for those of you who obviously have seen it and watching this video, Boimler is put into a scenario where he's beamed into a Borg ship and he has to escape. He gets the first time he gets it's a score of 74, in the low 70s,
Yeah.
and he's like, no, I could do better. Let me keep going. And the computer warns him, like, if you get your lower score, you're going to be done, and that's it. But we will take your higher score each time. And he keeps on going through these simulations, getting a higher score each time. And I know you and all your gaming background, this totally calls to you. I bet just you could totally see yourself in his shoes and wanting to just get a better score every time, right?
I mean, kinda.
Really?
What I
Oh,
what
I
I
nailed
you're
it on
not
the head.
you're not totally off base, but what I liked about it is his perfectionism, um, because the system is rigged. But we find out later the system has been rigged against everyone. But he is such a perfectionist that he keeps upping this rigged score. It's why he didn't. The reason why he didn't get higher than a 74 is because it was rigged against him. But he keeps trying to save different Borg. He blows up the ship. He takes the sphere, and the thing that really got me about this episode is how sad it ended up being, because I felt really bad for Boimler when he was assimilated, because he had a perfect score, and then they were like, "You got to keep doing the simulation," and it led to his assimilation, and
Yeah.
he wasn't sure what was real when he came out of the thing. Like it was honestly one of the saddest things I've ever seen in the show. Like I felt
I
so bad for him.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far, but yes, I did feel bad for him. But at the same time, it was very lighthearted, though. I
Mhm.
felt like, because of the whole situation, they turned it into a little bit of a joke, right?
Oh yeah, I mean the show
Um,
always has its tongue firmly in
yeah,
its cheek.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it is funny that Boimler got the best out of the entire crew,
He
right?
almost got a perfect score. It was just so.
Well, he
I
would.
was like,
I mean,
I
there's
so
no
feel
doubt
so
that he was
bad.
about to get 100, right? I
Oh
don't think
yeah, I
there's
mean
any doubt.
he was looking at his score when Captain Freeman asked him like to keep going in the simulation, because like if you're doing
Yeah,
it, we
and then
don't
he goes,
fail.
"Aw." Just
Yeah.
that little "aw" that got me, dude. That was funny.
Always a great time. I think Boimler is coming out really strong in the season,
He
just in
is.
general. Some of the strongest stuff has
He
been with
is.
him.
He is really showing a lot of leadership, and I think as a showrunner, they're grooming him to be to have some sort of command role over his lower deckers, and I think we're gonna see conflict between him and Mariner, who Mariner thinks that she's far superior than him, but she's not proving it. Boimler is, right?
Yeah.
So I think, just from a showrunner's perspective, that conflict is too juicy to pass up on. So I think we're going to see, probably at the end of this season, beginning of next season, Boimler having a little bit higher rank over his lower deck companions, and we're going to see a little bit more conflict. I think it'll be a ton of fun.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do question if they'd promote him again, because they promoted him at the end of last season, only to demote him 2 episodes into this season. I wonder if they would promote him to a lieutenant on the Cerritos, or a lieutenant junior
They-
grade on the
and
Cerritos.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see that, just because of all the things that he's been going through,
Yeah, maybe.
and the conflict.
I could see that.
But then again, I could also see a complete flip. where they make Mariner the head person in charge, and Boimler's like, what's going on? I've been doing all this stuff,
Mhm.
and then kind of having that kind of I see more conflict between him and Mariner going
I would.
forward.
I wonder if I wonder if more than Boimler, Rutherford and Tendi and Boimler get promoted at the end of the season, and
Oh,
Mariner
leaving Mariner
doesn't.
in the dust.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I can see that too.
because
Um,
Mariner is committed to staying an ensign. She doesn't want to do anything more. She just wants to be an ensign in Starfleet. But Rutherford, Tendi, and Boimler don't.
But that's also why I wouldn't be surprised if we see an episode where maybe Mariner gets promoted because she doesn't want that, and
Well,
she's
we saw that
forced.
in the last season.
We did see it, but
Yeah,
more like over a period of an entire season, though.
that's true. That could be.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't know.
there's fun to be had with both, with literally all three scenarios that we've talked about.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and so like I can see it going any way, and it being the show's great. Like I have faith that whatever the show does is going to be
yeah,
great.
exactly, right. It's fun. It's
Um,
fun to yeah.
I've never had so much faith in a. I don't have any faith in any of the other Star Trek shows on the air right now, as much as I have with Lower Decks.
Yeah, yeah. I
Even
completely
Strange New
agree.
Worlds, which I'm super stoked for. I'm just kind of like, well, yeah, I'm really excited for Strange New Worlds, but is it going to be as good as Lower Decks? I highly doubt it.
It's a high bar that Star Trek's created with this pretty much monster. I think this could be the
Yeah,
cornerstone of their entire series.
they
Or
really want they really want Discovery to be that, and I think I think you're right. It should be Lower
but they're
Decks.
forcing it though. Like this
Yeah,
feels too natural. Like Discovery feels so forced. Like even though there are like I am enjoying it as it progresses, it doesn't feel natural.
yeah.
It
I
feels they're forcing in all these different things, and they're I don't know.
there's a every Star Trek era has like had an anchor show when there's been multiple shows.
Yeah,
When there were the movies and Next Gen and Deep Space Nine, Next Gen was the anchor show.
yeah,
When DS9, the movies and Voyager were going, the movies were the anchor. And then then it was Voyager before Enterprise showed up. So when this new era started, they were clearly like, we're going to spin everything off of Discovery. Discovery is going to be our flagship Star Trek show. It's going to be this big thing. And honestly, like everything with Discovery, everything is so forced. The character development is so forced. The
yeah.
the the fact that they want that show to be the anchor show of their entire streaming empire is so forced. But this one just kind of slides in there like butter and is
Yeah.
honestly the only modern Star Trek show that I could see standing up
And
there with
and
the classic shows.
And the thing that really bums me out is that because this is animated, you're losing a lot of like even though there are Trek fans out there, they're not gonna there are some that just won't watch animated shows,
Yeah.
right? And unfortunately, if it's so as much as I want this to be their anchor, it's not going to happen. I don't think because it's animated, right? It could
It's
be a far superior show than all of them, all the other ones, but it's not going to be it. That's why they had to bring in, 90-year-old Patrick Stewart in to try to revive some of the older, to bring in some of the older fans.
and
I
it
think
almost worked. They almost got away with
it
it.
almost got us. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
they got me. I mean, I subscribed to Paramount Plus.
I
So.
mean, that's true. I'm only watching this show because of Picard, honestly.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And there's a lot of people who write off just modern Star Trek in general.
But there's
And
even
kind of
more that write off animated
yeah,
shows.
so you've lost honestly more people than you have lost with Discovery and Picard, because the show is animated. And it's such a shame because like I will constantly tell people I'm part of this one group and I'm just like, oh, what's your favorite Star Trek show? It's Lower Decks. What's your favorite Star Trek show on right now? It is Lower Decks. If you don't like modern Star Trek, Lower Decks is the closest thing you're going to get to classic Trek.
Yep.
And honestly, it's good.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. I 100% agree.
Uh, okay, what else is in this episode though?
So let's see. We do have. Um, okay, so once all most of the simulations are kind of
well,
finishing off.
well,
Yeah, there it is.
well. Look who it is.
Hey guys.
Hey
Sorry
man.
I'm late.
No, it's cool. Glad you could be here.
Absolutely.
What
We
did
were
you
just
think of
talking about how much Star Wars is better than Star
We
Trek.
weren't. Don't let him do that to you. Let's all show our shirts. I got a Digimon shirt on, so definitely on brand.
Got my rock shirt.
It looked like you pulled it up by strings.
I tried to.
Yeah. All right. We're just talking about Lower Decks. We're about halfway through. What do you think of this episode?
Oh, I love this. I think this was probably my favorite episode, to be honest with you.
It's ours too.
That is awesome. So good.
Yeah, this is great. We talked about Boimler's I think tragic downfall in his Borg simulation at the end. It's so sad.
So Cookie, I was talking to Brandon about as to the Boimler aspect of this and why I thought that Boimler was his favorite part, which I think it is, and I think it's also yours too because of this. He had this kind of like gaming mentality, like I just want to keep on getting a higher score. And I know you're a big gamer. Same with this guy, and I was like, I bet you these two would like love that aspect of it.
I'm watching it, and like once he like passed, and the computer was like, "You don't have to go on. You passed." It's like, no. I need to platinum this game. I don't care what happens. I got to make it happen.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I thought of both of you too.
Yeah, I just his when he comes out of the simulation, they like can't get him out for a minute, and they got to force the thing open, and they're just like, "Ensign Boimler, are you okay?" And he's just like, "I don't know what's real. They took everything I was."
So crazy that a simulation holodeck can actually make someone feel that, you know?
Like, yeah, actually, where the hell are the safety protocols?
Right? None. But that kind of brings us to where we're at right now. Just real quick, Cookie, like during the first half of this episode, during the holodecks parts, before we get into like we finding out that the woman who's who created all this is it's just a big thing just to try to save her own job. Do you have anything specific you want to talk about when it comes to the holodeck stuff?
Oh no, nothing in particular. I mean, it was all really, really great stuff, and it always the premise was so super simple going into it, where it's like the grass is always green on the other side, and it's like you always think something's better until you get there. So that I think was really awesome. I think it was very interesting. I love the concept of it. It's super simple, but it resonates with a lot of people, and I just think it's enjoyable.
Nice.
Yeah, I will agree with that assessment. Just what the show does so well is putting in these fun Easter eggs in ways that feel like they're organic and not in a way that's like, oh, hey, remember that? It's, these situations are things that Starfleet officers have gone through, so of course they would go. It's like the Kobayashi Maru. The Kobayashi Maru is a real event that happened in Starfleet, and it was such a no-win scenario that they made it a simulation to constantly tell people. So, like, yeah, okay, someone went through two starships went through this stupid plague. Of course they're going to make it a simulation for other people to be like, hey, in case this happens again.
This is what to do.
Because it's likely.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so the kind of big reveal of the episode is, well, Captain Freeman and Mariner think they understand. It's like, oh, we have a new understanding. And that was the mission all along. She's like, nah, I just wanted you guys to fail because I want to keep my job.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, she could get any job she wants. So, like, don't worry about it. This is the future, man. This is the future.
I mean, if she really wanted to, she could actually live on Earth in the middle of the desert in her own motorhome, and that's what she wants to do. So,
are we talking Discovery here?
No, we're talking Picard. We're talking Picard.
Yeah, Picard. Yes, Picard. Sorry, yes.
You can. So leave, I mean,
that's
her
choice. If she really wants to.
It is her choice. Why is she bitching? It's her choice. Oh, I hate that.
If she wants to be just a loner by herself and drink her sorrows away, that's her right. She can do whatever she wants.
I talked to real quick.
I love this show.
Real quick tangent. I have another show called Conversation, which I've talked about before. To you guys, I was able to interview Scott Kalora, who runs the Transporter Room 3 podcast,
Nice.
which is a great podcast. It's a great Star Trek podcast. I highly recommend it. And we got to talk about Picard and Lower Decks and Discovery and how much he likes them or dislikes them. And he was like, yeah, I wasn't too crazy about Picard either. And I was like, oh, that's good to know. And we also bitched about, what's her name? Ravi. Complaining to Picard, like, oh, you've got your vineyard, I've got my motorhome. And we're both just like, it's her choice. Like, she can live wherever she wants. She chose the motorhome.
Bitch about your own choices sometimes.
But then make a different choice. It's not that hard.
But it may not be hard to someone like us, but maybe it's hard for her.
If Cisco wanted to live out his life in his dad's restaurant for the rest of ever, he could.
Yeah, he could have, but he also felt like he had other things to do. Maybe she felt like she had other things to do, like sit in her corner and think about what she did.
Self-imposed timeout. I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you. Anyway, just keep poking that bear. All right. Anyway, so it's revealed that she wanted the Cerritos to fail. All the crew is going to get reassigned. And she's going to keep her job. Is basically what's happening. And she's like, "You guys are on a California class starship. Like, you guys don't matter." And the response is my favorite thing that I've seen in Star Trek before. It is our two main casts, the Lower Decks and the Upper Decks, coming together to show her the most dangerous anomalies ever to torture this woman, to scare her into passing them. I think that is such a fun.
Well, I mean, I love it too, because it's so relatable, because everybody, I feel like they had those like bosses at work that never did the grunt work, but they tell you how to do your job kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You're like, wait, you wouldn't even know what to do if you were in my shoe. Don't tell me what to do. All right, you know what? I'm going to put you through this scenario, and you're going to actually know what it feels like to go out and actually do these missions and things like that. We're fine. We have no problem doing this. This is status quo for us. And then she's freaking out because she's like, no, the statistics or numbers or whatever. Like, just watch.
The whole thing of like, find me the most dangerous anomaly. There's a crystalline entity eating this planet. There's a crystalline entity doing this.
I love that.
There's a lot of crystalline entities today.
It's like, didn't they say, like, is there a crystalline entity convention going on or something?
Like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I really like it when like crew like a big cast like rally together for the first time to kind of like come on the same page and do this event. So like, even though it makes no sense that Tendi would know how to work the con because she's medical, it's really cool to see them all on the bridge. And it's not any side characters. It's not any extra aliens. It's just our main characters working together. And I think that's a lot of fun.
Real quick, I did not know that the Borg Queen was actually played by Alice Cringe.
Oh my God. I want to talk about that. But Pookie, I want you to say something because you haven't talked in a bit.
I was going to say, did you guys talk about the beginning scene where they were left on the satellite? You did? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely hilarious. It's like, oh, they're not going to leave us. They'll be right back. And it's like 6 hours later, they're like dying, frozen.
The captain runs in and is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
She kind of says sorry. Not really, though.
Right. She's like, you shouldn't have, because it's Mariner. And they have a thing.
You should like checked out your boots or something like that. Your space.
Yeah, then we would have known.
Yeah.
That would have made everything different.
You sent us on this mission. Yeah. Okay.
Brandon, talk about the data scene with the Borg Queen.
Oh my God. Okay. So when it first happens, I was like, that sounds a lot like Alice Krieg. I thought maybe it was like reused dialogue, but it is Alice Krieg. She recorded new dialogue. Now you're telling me that Lower Decks can get Alice Krieg for 2 seconds, but freaking Picard can't get her or doesn't want her? What the hell, guys?
Well, I think that there's several Borg Queens. It's
always meant to be Alice Krieg.
Well, if you think about it, though, all she has to do is go home, literally put her headphones in, record a couple lines, and be done. She doesn't have to get out of bed. She doesn't have to do anything.
But versus with CGI, I feel like they could probably do that, right?
That's a lot of money.
I guess
they have a lot of money.
I guess seeing what we saw, they do have a lot. They have a lot of money to spend on Star Trek right now. I guess seeing the capacity of the Borg Queen is in Picard, I kind of feel like maybe Alice Krieg said no. Because it doesn't look like she's getting a big role.
Or maybe she's just like, you know what? Lower Decks is such a far superior TV show than Picard. Then I'd rather.
She's
see
totally
Lower
watching them. Yes, you're right. She's watching all of Star Trek. She's a huge Trekkie. She's got a Cerritos. She got a Cerritos shirt on.
She probably talked to Jonathan Frakes. Was like, hey, which one should I do? And he's like, I did the Picard thing. I don't know if
He's
I'm
like,
gonna
don't go down that
but I'm
route.
definitely doing Lower Decks. They're bringing me back for Lower Decks.
That's a good point. That's a good thing to mention. Lower Decks is the only show that Jonathan Frakes hasn't directed yet.
Yet.
I think
I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
I mean, it is animation. It's a different directing style, so it's probably a learning curve for him, and he's getting kind of old, may not want to. But I'd like to see what he would do.
Yeah.
What was that?
Agree.
Is that someone's phone?
That was my phone because I'm recording from my phone today. Unfortunately, let me take it off of vibrate.
That's okay. That's okay. It was just in my ears. I was so confused. I thought the Alice Krieg thing was really fun and kind of doing what she did with Data. Like the program is for Data. Like they're just like, hey, remember when she was like super horny for Data for some reason? And they did that. But it is
I love when he's like, no, I'm full human. And she goes, oh, you're so dehydrated. Drink some water.
There's a bit that she I forgot what it is always meant to be. I don't know what the explanation is in canon, but did you ever play the game Star Trek something? What was the damn game called? Star Trek Legacies, maybe?
I have not.
It was a PlayStation 2 game, I want to say. So like early days. And the big selling point was that you could play as all the starships. And
Counters or Conquest? There are two.
Don't think it was either of those. So maybe it was PS4.
Force?
Huh? No, it wasn't the Elite Force. It wasn't a computer
Shattered
game.
Universe?
No, I played Shattered Universe. That game was pretty fun too.
Are you sure it's PS2?
Maybe it's PS3. Maybe it was Xbox 360. It wasn't even Sony. Anyway, but it was this game where you could play as
Bridge
like all.
Crew.
No, it wasn't that either.
Legacy.
I played Bridge Crew,
Legacy.
but I
It was
played it for the
Legacy.
phone.
No, Star Trek Legacy. You're right.
Yeah, Legacies. Okay, yeah. So it was a pretty fun game that you could play as all the starships, and you could command all the starships, and each like mission was a different starship with the captain of that ship reprising their role. So it was always Patrick Stewart, William Shatner, Jonathan Archer, Jesus, Quantum Leap. What's the dude's name? Scott Bakula, and Avery Brooks. By the way, happy birthday, Avery Brooks. That was yesterday.
Nice.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to the best captain. And he and so it was this kind of fun game that had like the Vulcan, like had like a Vulcan from Archer's era go all the way through to the Enterprise E, where he wants to team up with the Borg and take over the universe and whatever. But in it, you can unlock an origin story for the Borg that had that isn't canon, but it was kind of interesting, the idea that like it was V'ger who landed on a planet that Alice Krieg was a part of, and V'ger, and they like used the technology to like merge and become like the first Borg, and then they evolved into what we know as the Borg. So like Alice Krieg had like copies of herself planted throughout the collective, and so it was always meant to be the same queen, even if played by a different actress. And I just thought that was kind of cool. This is like, we don't know the origin of the Borg, but hey, maybe it was V'ger's fault.
No, I've never played the game, so that's new information for me.
It's an old game. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I played a couple of Star Trek games. Shattered Universe was fun. That had George Takei and Walter Koenig come back.
Have either of you read any Star Trek novels?
I have a couple.
Not the autobiographies, because I've only read
not those, but just like old like novels.
I read the first William Shatner written one after Generations.
Okay.
which is like, what if Captain Kirk came back from the dead after generations and became an assassin for Klingons?
So, for those of you who know my Star Wars lore, like I've talked about the Darth Bane trilogy and that being my favorite trilogy across almost any genre. Actually, I love that series so much. This is probably in my top 10 trilogy wise. This is called Star Trek Destiny.
Oh, I've heard of this one.
Yeah, got all 3 books right here, and it spans
Ezri.
it spans all 3 of the major of the DS9, TNG, and Voyager characters. They merge them all together, and it is so cool. It is so cool. Like you two would love this series. I think.
Yeah.
I think you two would love this series. I mean,
what's it about?
So here, I'll read you the synopsis real quick.
I love doing the show with you guys, by the way. This is so much fun.
The soldiers of Armageddon are on the march, laying waste to worlds in their passage. An audacious plan could stop them forever, but it carries a risk that one starship captain is unwilling to take. For Captain Jean-Luc Picard, defending the future has never been so important or so personal, and the wrong choice will cost him everything for which he has struggled and suffered. For Captain William Riker, that choice has already been made. Haunted by the memories of those he was forced to leave behind, he must jeopardize all that he has left in a desperate bid to save the Federation. For Captain Ezri Dax, whose impetuous youth is balanced by the wisdom of many lifetimes, the choice is a simple one. There is no going back, only forward to whatever future awaits them. But for those who millennia ago had no choice, this is the hour of their final inescapable destiny.
Ominous.
Sign me up.
Ominous. And it's
ready.
So good.
Is it?
So good.
Okay.
Highly recommend it.
Send me a picture so I remember to put this on my Amazon list.
There it is, right there.
All right, I'll screen cap that later.
No, I'll send it to you.
I haven't read a lot of these Star Trek books because they, much like the Star Wars novels, they can be really daunting task to kind of pick where you want.
But this is like a similar to what we were talking about Bond. You could jump into this. You're good. Cool. As long as you have a basic, like the author David Mack, he went into it with the basic knowledge of if all you know is TNG, DS9, Voyager shows, you're good to go here.
Okay, I'm gonna propose something, guys. So we do the show. We do our show, the Fichtner podcast. You've heard of it, the Fichtner podcast.
I think I have, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a book club on that show. Every week we talk about a different comic book. Can I propose maybe next week we add a little book club to our discussion?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking the Q conflict.
Q conflict. Where can we find that?
Well, at your local comic book store, probably. But I'll send you a link where you can find it.
Okay.
So it is. I've been interested in reading it. Go ahead.
Can I just put a little asterisk? Maybe we do this at maybe our final episode of Lower Decks. Maybe.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
That way it gives us some time to find it.
I don't want Cookie to miss that.
Yeah.
Well, the premise of this is that Q wants to find out which captain would win in a fight, essentially. So he puts all the captains together. So it's Sisko, Kirk, I think Archer. No, not Archer. Why did Archer get left out? So it's Sisko, Kirk, Janeway, and Picard kind of teaming up against Q. And I've been interested in reading it. So I'd like to do that and discuss it with you guys.
I'm in.
Cookie?
I'm always in.
All right, let's do it. That'd be fun. So, guys, stay tuned for a little bit of a book club on this Fichtner's Watch series.
Down. Yep.
All right, we should probably get back to talking about Lower Decks.
I know, right?
That's what people are here.
Oh, I mean, what else really is there to talk about this episode?
Well, there's the
party that went on in the entire ship.
The naked time.
Yeah, so good.
That was
a lot of great callbacks to early. I mean, this whole episode was a callback episode, really, but it was so well done, and it wasn't like we talked about. It wasn't forced. It fit the narrative of the episode very well.
It's very
Right.
organic. The
Yeah.
show's always been very organic with their Easter eggs. They don't do them unless they make sense for where
I
the
wouldn't even
situation
count. I mean,
is.
yes, I guess technically they're Easter eggs, but since they're part of the story, I just think it's more continuity than
Yeah, that's a good point.
than an actual Easter egg. Because Easter eggs are meant to just be, oh, hey, look at that lamp. That lamp was in Jean-Luc Picard's ready room back in season 2, episode 7 of TNG. That's a great Easter egg. You know?
Yeah, yeah, that's
This
true.
is actually like more continuity. They actually interact with these callbacks.
Yeah. But real quickly, I wanted to backtrack real quickly. The reason why I brought up Q conflict, which I just remembered because sorry, I'm really tired today. I've always wanted, like, what I wanted Picard to kind of be is a team up with next gen era cast members, revisiting them in the Picard timeline, like seeing Ezri or Riker or Janeway or Jake Sisko or Nog or whatever. He's dead. I'm so sorry. I brought him up. But
Too soon.
Too soon. I know it was just a couple months ago, honestly. So like I would like to see. I did want to see that in live action, but if we're only getting it in like books and comics, I think that's still kind of cool. So I want to read.
You know, one thing I love about Q is that when they wrote Q, it just opened the door to just like any future type of like comic book or novel. Like you can just explain like crossovers like crazy, like that, or non-continuity or non-canon things like that, because it's like, oh, this is just a Q alternate universe kind of thing, you know? It's such a great catch-all.
You know the story of how Q showed up in the first episode, right?
Mm-mm.
So the way Roddenberry wrote the first episode, it was just the Farpoint mission, and it was just kind of the slow, methodical, like mystery about what's happening at Farpoint and whatnot. But Shea Fontana, who did a lot of writing on the early seasons of Next Gen and a lot of the original series, she was the one who's like, this is really boring. Like people aren't going to watch this. So she added the subplot of Q to be like, let's make this a little bit more interesting. Let's raise the stakes. You know, maybe the stakes of humanity are on the line because Q wants to eradicate. So like it's it's her creation has just created so many different avenues to take Star Trek, and it was just because they needed something more interesting for the pilot of Next Gen. I just think that's cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. All right. So the end of the episode is basically the girl. What's her name again? You got Memory Alpha up. So.
Well, what would the doctor?
No, the dude, the
lady that can split her head and body.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's a Pandronian named Shari Yin.
Yeah. She passes everyone because she's like, I'm sorry, I won't do this again. Turns out they tricked her with the black hole. There's no time quakes. And what it does end up doing is the senior staff now has a more respected look towards the lower decks. They give them a replicator that can make more than one slice of pizza at a time.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
Super excited.
And pesto.
I get pesto.
And pesto. Yeah, and I thought that was just kind of a nice little button on this episode to be like, yeah, this is this experience did bring us closer together. Like we understand each other a little bit more now, and you know, going forward, we might see more of that respect. I just think it has a really nice, like, you know, uplifting Star Trek. You know, hey, we're all in this together message at the end.
Yeah,
it's like a bow on a present. It was perfectly sealed.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to bring up with this episode?
We have 2 more weeks of this.
We do.
That's it.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
You can look at it as, hey, we got 2 more weeks. Oh no, we're running out. Or we got 2 more episodes.
2 more episodes.
Yeah.
And then Discovery.
I
don't know. I'm looking forward to another somewhat better season, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be optimistic.
You know who I'm excited to see for Discovery? I'm excited to see oh my god, Oded Fair.
Oh yeah.
Because he's really good in the third. Cookie, how far are you in season 3 of Discovery?
Well, guys, gotta go.
Okay.
I am I'm probably about midway into it, I would say. Close to
Okay.
midway.
All right, we'll get on it because
We'll do.
we're getting closer. I mean, you got a month. Like a month and a half, I think.
I'll get
All
it.
right.
I'll get it done.
All right, so that'll do it then. That'll do it for this episode. A lot of tangents, a lot of Star Trek. Love it. Love talking about this. There was even Mike, you and I even talked about James Bond before we recorded. So there's a little something for you guys. Okay, so that'll do it. So we do this every week, or at least we try to. We're going to talk about the last two episodes of Lower Decks that's coming up. Really excited. And then we'll probably go to Discovery, and I know we discussed probably doing Discovery and Prodigy at the same time. So we'll stay tuned for that. That's exciting. Yeah. Mike, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
You can find me at the Downright Nerdy podcast. The link should be down below. Every week we do I do a show with Jackson, Cookie, and a bunch of other podcasters. We do a weekly movie review. This week we are, courtesy of Cookie, we are watching and reviewing Too Fast, Too Furious. Thankfully, it's not on my channel, so make sure you subscribe to Jackson from Born Annoyed, or don't, because it's a terrible movie. So we'll see. It's up to you.
Cookie, I have a question. I have a question before you say anything. Do you hate them?
Okay, listen, this was like, just pick a sequel movie, and I was like, all right, I didn't expect it because it was a genre wheel, so I expected it to be like loaded full of a whole bunch of different movies. I didn't expect it to fall on me. Magically, it fell on me. I didn't expect it to, but it is a good nostalgic trip because I love Fast and Furious, and I know that Mike loves The Rock, and if you just pace through a few more, I know, but it's like
I was like, wait a second, he's not in this movie.
I'm trying to reach for something here. I'm trying to help out. There's nothing. The movie sucks, but it's funny.
You could have picked Fast 5.
Well, it was sequels, so it was like it had to be
Fast
like
5 is a sequel.
No, it had to be like the next one, like the second.
Have to be the next one. You did this on purpose. You knew.
Well, it didn't have to be the next one.
No.
Oh, I would have picked Tokyo Drift then. Tokyo Drift's my favorite.
I don't believe you.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna back you up on Tokyo Drift. I recently rewatched it before 9 came out. Tokyo Drift rules.
Thank you. It's the best one.
I don't think it's the best one. 5 is the best one for me.
Which one's 5?
That's the one where The Rock shows up for the first time.
Okay.
With the safe?
I did want to get a revolver for after I saw that. I'm like, oh, I need a revolver.
All right. Cookie, where can they find you?
On Instagram at Just Little Podcast, on Twitter at Just Podcasting, YouTube, Just Little Podcast, and of course the podcast, you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. I don't know if I'm going to have a new episode this week, but I'm going to do my best. I'll see what happens. But every Tuesday I drop a new episode. If not, you can go back to my previous stuff. I have a whole bunch of great episodes. Episode 100 I did a couple weeks back. That was fantastic. So take a listen to that.
Congratulations for 100 episodes, sir.
Thank you.
I've not been able to congratulate you in person yet.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so that'll do it. Let's just plug the rest of the stuff on this channel then. If you're watching this, this is part of the Fake Nerd Podcast family of podcasts, so you can check out, of course, Conversation, which is coming to an end soon for the first season, but Travis Alexander from the Kaiju Weekly Podcast is on the latest episode. Really good episode. And the final episode will be Michael Hamilton from the Kaiju Weekly Podcast. So I had a bit of a two-parter there. I got both guests for the first time on Conversation. That's a great show that I really love doing, so check that one out. Subscribe. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to subscribe to their channels as well. Don't forget that. You can check out our other Fake Nerds Watch series. There is another Fake Nerds Watch series happening at the same time, which is What If. How are you guys liking What If?
So good.
Yeah, Mike, you always got to do you're always like, everything sucks, right?
I'm Mr. Positive, he's Mr. Negative.
I'm not everything sucks.
Did you like this latest episode?
He's
did
like,
you watch the latest episode?
But a couple of them did.
The latest episode was fantastic.
Which one was the latest episode again?
Ultron.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, okay. I like that one.
Yeah. I like that we got more of the Watcher, more specifically, I think.
Boy, howdy, did we. So that's going on right now. I think the final episode of What If, we're going to do 2 episodes because technically part 1 and part 2 for the finale. So we're going to do that. So stay tuned for that, and you can check out our other Fake Nerd Watches, which are on this channel. We're trying to figure out what to do. Doom Patrol So that's also a stay tuned. Hey,
I'm gonna
guys,
watch that.
it's a good show. Basement Arcade is back, though. Basement Arcade is back with a vengeance, guys. We are scaring Ben Magnet on Spooktober for Basement Arcade. The first episode is not a scary one. We did Crawl, but there are going to be more screams coming from Ben Magnet on Basement Arcade soon. We just recorded Outlast last night. Oh my god, guys, that's so scary.
Speaking of scary, real quick, I just want to plug for our movie review show. I'm gonna do some collusion with the other guests because since Cookie made us do Too Fast, Too Furious, I'm gonna try to collude and make everybody do the scariest movie they could think of for the next week.
Scariest movie.
Oh, what's the scariest movie I've ever seen? Conjuring 2 is pretty freaking scary.
In the Army Now.
Oh, really? Oh, really? That is scary.
In its own way. Okay, Star Trek Nemesis is scary for a reason. Tom Hardy's bad, whatever he's doing. Okay, so you can check out that. Basement Arcade is back, so new episodes are coming. I'm really excited. Basement Arcade Pause Menu, Ben Magnet's video game show, a new episode there soon. Figure Book Club, and then Animation Station. We'll probably do Star Wars Visions soon on Animation Station, so stay tuned for that. I've watched the first couple episodes. It's really good. I really like that show. And then that's that, right? Yeah, that's it. Of course, you can check out the Figner Podcast, which is our mothership show. We just did an episode on Venom, Let There Be Carnage. That episode is up now. If you're listening to this, we had to record that one early. So, hey, Venom, Let There Be Carnage is pretty cool, actually. Shocked all of us. So there you go. Check that out. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, find us on all the social medias, and I think that's everything I got to plug. Oh, there's a Patreon, there's TeePublic, there's our website, which you can find all that stuff linked below. Okay, that's everything I got to plug. Till next time, live long and prosper.